Listen closely, because what I'm about to tell you isn't for the faint-hearted. This is a call to the warriors, the relentless, the ones who refuse to bow down to the quiet, the calm, the expected. They wanted peace. They prayed for it. They begged for it, held on to their fragile hopes for it. But you didn't just come to fulfill their wishes. You came to shatter the silence, to ignite the darkness, to become the storm they never saw coming. The world around you is drenched in calm facades. People settle into the comfortable lull of peace like it's a warm blanket. But peace, as they know it, is fragile, brittle, and easy to break. You were never meant to be part of that comfort. You were forged in fire, built for chaos, made for the upheaval. While they whispered prayers for a quiet tomorrow, you were already plotting a revolution, not with swords or guns, but with sheer will, with relentless action, with unshakable resolve. It was all good until this dropped, until you unleashed what they feared most. Raw, untamed power wrapped in purpose. You didn't bring peace, and you never will. You brought the storm, and storms don't ask for permission. They don't wait for approval. They sweep in, fierce and unrelenting, breaking down everything in their path and leaving only change in their wake. They look at you, trying to understand, trying to tame what they see, but they will never grasp the depth of your fury, the vastness of your dreams, or the sheer magnitude of your defiance. They pray for peace because peace means control. It means predictability. It means they can keep you in a box. But you refuse the box. You refuse their cages. You are the wild tempest, the impossible force, the unshackled storm that no prayer can calm. Remember this: storms are not born from gentle whispers or quiet wishes. They are born from the rage of the ignored, the screams of the silenced, the fury of those told no one too many times. You are the embodiment of every broken promise, every shattered expectation, every unfair blow that the world dealt you. And instead of crumbling, you rose. You rose like thunder in the night, like lightning ripping through the dark sky. You rose to remind them that peace without justice is a lie, that calm without courage is weakness, and that silence is just a temporary pause before the inevitable roar. They will try to break you. They will try to drown out your storm with words, with doubt, with fear. But storms cannot be silenced. The louder they try, the fiercer you become. The stronger they push, the harder you crash back. Every attempt to cage you only fuels the tempest within, making you more unstoppable, more unbreakable. It was all good until this dropped: your arrival, your voice, your refusal to conform. You are the disruption, the force of nature that rewrites the rules, that tears down the old world to build a new one. You are the storm that washes away the lies, that cleanses the dirt beneath the surface, that demands truth and power on your terms. Look at the faces around you, the ones who prayed for peace, who begged for calm. They don't see what you see. They don't feel what you feel, but you do. You feel the fire inside, the hunger for more, the refusal to settle for less. You know that peace isn't about silence. It's about strength. It's about owning your chaos, harnessing your rage, and transforming it into something unstoppable. So when they ask you to quiet down, to play nice, to fit in, remember this: you are not here to soothe the world. You are here to shake it to its core. You are the storm that will redefine what it means to fight, to win, to live without apology. You are the storm that breaks their prayers for peace and replaces them with a new reality, one forged in power, resilience, and unyielding spirit. This is your moment, the moment when everything changes, The moment when you stop asking for permission and start demanding respect. The moment when you stop praying for peace and start becoming the storm that reshapes the world. They prayed for peace. You brought the storm. And that storm? It's just getting started. They thought peace was the end game, a finish line to cross, a place to rest. But peace is a lie told to the weak, a mirage crafted to keep the strong in line. Peace is the silence before the storm, the calm that masks the chaos beneath. And you are the truth they never wanted to face. You are the force that rips through the illusions and leaves nothing but raw reality in your wake. You're not here to be understood. That's their mistake, expecting the storm to explain itself. You're not here to be tamed or contained, to be softened or made polite. The world may want a quiet hero, a gentle giant, a humble winner. But you aren't those things. You're the storm that shatters glass ceilings, that tears down walls, that rewrites the rules they wrote to keep you small. Every time they pray for peace, they're hoping for a silence that means submission. They want the noise to stop because that noise is your roar, the sound of rebellion, of courage, of refusal to accept anything less than your full, wild potential. And the louder you roar, the more scared they get. Because storms are unpredictable, unstoppable, terrifying to those who live in cages of comfort and control. But here's the secret. The storm isn't just destruction. It's creation in disguise. Every thunderclap is a new idea. Every lightning strike a new path. You bring chaos not to break for the sake of breaking, but to clear the ground, to burn away the old, to make space for something real, something powerful, something worth fighting for. Look at what you've faced to get here. The doubts, the setbacks, the moments when giving up seemed like the easier choice. But you didn't give up. You couldn't. Because storms don't fade quietly. They build power from resistance. They grow louder with every challenge. They become unstoppable because they don't rely on hope or chance. They rely on force, on will, on the refusal to be ignored. You carry the weight of every broken promise, every whispered lie, every injustice you endured. And that weight fuels you. It sharpens your edges, strengthens your resolve, and pushes you forward. You don't bring the storm because it's easy. You bring the storm because it's necessary. Because peace without change is a cage. Because calm without courage is a prison. Because silence without power is submission. It was all good until this dropped. Your decision to stop waiting, to stop hoping, to stop praying for a world that would never come to you. You dropped the storm on their heads, and now they scramble to understand, to react, to survive. But survival isn't your goal. Victory is. Transformation is. Revolution is. This isn't just about you. It's about everyone who's ever been told to be quiet, to stay small, to accept less. You are the storm for them. The living proof that the fire inside cannot be extinguished by whispers or prayers or false promises. You are the awakening, the disruption, the force that demands the world pay attention. So when the world trembles beneath your power, don't apologize. Don't back down. Don't even hesitate. You are the storm, and storms don't negotiate. They don't ask for forgiveness. They don't stop until everything that needs to change is changed. You've already shattered the illusion of peace. Now, it's time to build a new order from the chaos you create. One where strength is celebrated, where courage is the currency, where the quiet prayers for peace are replaced by the thunderous cries of revolution. They prayed for peace, but you brought the storm. And the storm doesn't just arrive. It consumes, it transforms, it conquers. Because peace was never your destiny. You were made for more. You were made for the storm. There's a misconception in the world that storms are something to fear, to avoid, to run from. But storms aren't the enemy. Complacency is. Silence is. The dull ache of giving up. And you are the antithesis of that. You're the living proof that resistance isn't just an option. It's the only way to survive. Because peace without purpose is empty. Quiet without courage is hollow, and stillness without strength is death. You weren't built to fade into the background, to accept the easy path, to whisper prayers for a world that doesn't hear you. You were forged in defiance, molded in the fires of relentless struggle, and sharpened by the winds of unyielding ambition. The storm you bring isn't chaos without cause. It's the raw, unfiltered power of someone who refuses to be small. It was all good until this dropped. Your refusal to settle. Your decision to burn down every excuse, every barrier, every limit placed on you. You brought the storm, not because you want destruction, but because destruction is the precursor to rebirth, to rise again, to rebuild stronger, fiercer, and wiser than ever before. Look around you. The world clings to its fragile peace like a drowning man to a lifeline. But that peace, it's an illusion, a mask that hides injustice, fear, and weakness. You see through that mask. You know that true power comes from embracing the storm inside, that fire in your gut that no prayer can soothe, no silence can calm. The storm inside you is not an accident. It's a force of nature, a necessary disruption. Every lightning strike is a breakthrough, every thunderclap, a declaration that you will not be ignored, not today, not ever. This storm is your voice when the world tries to silence you, your weapon when they try to hold you back, your freedom when they try to cage your spirit. They prayed for peace because peace is safe. Peace is predictable. Peace is the world's way of saying, stay quiet, stay small. But you are the answer to every whispered prayer of the restless, the rebel, the dreamer who refuses to accept the status quo. You are the storm that breaks the chains, that shatters the ceilings, that forces the world to reckon with your existence. And don't mistake the calm before the storm as weakness. It's preparation, it's focus. It's the gathering of every ounce of strength, every spark of defiance, every shred of resilience that will unleash a force so powerful, so unstoppable, it will change everything. It was all good until this dropped. Your moment of awakening, your refusal to be tamed, your choice to become the storm that no one could ignore. And now, nothing will ever be the same. The world will never be the same, because storms don't just pass. They leave marks. They carve new paths. They remake the land in their image. So own it. Own the storm you bring. Own the power you wield. Own the fire that burns inside you so fiercely it lights up the darkest skies. Because you are not here to fit in. You are here to stand out, to disrupt, to dominate, to change the game forever. They prayed for peace. You brought the storm. And that storm, it's your legacy. Every great change in history was born from a storm, not a whisper. Every revolution, every breakthrough, every moment that shifted the course of humanity started with chaos, with unrest, with a force that refused to be denied. You are that force, not a quiet hope, not a peaceful dream, but a violent, necessary upheaval that shakes foundations and demands new truths. You weren't handed your power. You claimed it. You wrestled it from doubt, from fear, from every voice that told you to settle, to be small, to wait your turn. You said no. You shouted no. You became the storm because it was the only way to survive, the only way to thrive, the only way to turn pain into purpose. It was all good until this dropped, until you showed up, unapologetic, untamed, unrelenting, until your presence turned calm into chaos, quiet into noise, peace into a battlefield where the strongest survive. You are the storm they warned about in whispers, the nightmare they tried to deny in daylight. But denial won't save them, neither will prayer, because storms don't ask for mercy, they take what's theirs. Feel the weight of that. Feel the power in your hands, in your mind, in your spirit. You carry the storm within you every second of every day. It's not just anger or frustration. It's a deep, burning fire of creation and destruction, a force that will dismantle anything that stands between you and your destiny. They pray for peace because peace means control. Control means predictability. But you are the unpredictable, the wild, the untouchable. You're the lightning bolt that shatters complacency, the thunder that drowns out the lies. You're the storm that rewrites the rules, that breaks every chain, that refuses to be silenced. Remember, the storm is not a curse. It's a blessing. It's the power to change your story, to rise above every limit, every expectation, every failure. It's the energy that pushes you beyond pain, beyond fear, beyond every reason to quit. You don't just survive the storm, you become it. It was all good until this dropped. Your decision to stop waiting for permission, to stop hoping for change from the outside, to stop praying for a peace that never comes without a fight. You brought the storm because you are the storm. And storms don't apologize. They don't retreat. They don't give up. So when the world looks at you with fear or disbelief, smile. Because they don't understand what it means to carry a storm inside. They don't know what it feels like to be the force that everything else bends around. They don't see the fire in your eyes, the steel in your spine, the relentless hunger that drives you forward. You are the storm that will remake everything, the storm that will turn the impossible into reality, the storm that will rise again and again, no matter how many times it's beaten down. Because storms aren't just weather, they are the proof that life moves forward through chaos, that strength comes from struggle, and that true power is born from the fiercest battles. They prayed for peace. You brought the storm. And that storm, it's your power, your purpose, your legacy. The world may try to drown out your roar with silence, but silence was never your language. Your language is thunder. Your words strike like lightning, illuminating the darkness they've hidden behind for far too long. You don't need their approval, you need their attention. And make no mistake, when a storm arrives, the world listens. It doesn't matter how many times they tell you to calm down, to settle, to be less. Because you are the embodiment of every refusal, every no, every moment you chose to rise instead of fall. It was all good until this dropped. The storm you unleashed, the force you embodied, the power you refused to tame. The moment you stopped being a background noise and became the headline. The moment your energy shifted from dormant to destructive, from passive to dominant. This is your revolution, your declaration, your uprising. It is a force so primal, so real, that it cannot be ignored or contained. Storms are not polite. They do not ask for permission to change the landscape. They don't pause for consent or bow to tradition. They take what's theirs because it's their nature, to disrupt, to transform, to rebuild from the ruins. You were made in that image. You are not the quiet aftermath. You are the violent beginning, the shaking that forces everyone to wake up, to rethink, to face the undeniable power of your presence. They prayed for peace because peace is predictable. They prayed for calm because calm means control. But control is the cage they built for you. And you are the key to every lock, the breaker of every chain. You didn't bring peace, you brought change. Real, raw, unfiltered change. You brought the storm that drowns out the lies and lights the way for those brave enough to follow. Within you lies the fury of every moment they told you no, the power of every door slammed shut in your face, the fire of every doubt cast upon your dreams. This storm is born from that fire. It's the energy that will never let you settle for less, never let you silence your own voice, never let you fade away. It was all good until this dropped. Your refusal to accept the world's limitations, your decision to rewrite the rules, to smash the old systems, to carve your own path through the chaos. You are the storm that will not be stopped, the force that will not be broken, the power that will not be denied. So when you feel the weight of the world pushing back, lean into it. When the darkness tries to swallow your light, burn brighter. When the silence tries to hold you down, roar louder. Because storms aren't just weather, they're proof that the earth is alive, that change is coming, that nothing will ever be the same again. They prayed for peace, but you brought the storm. And that storm, it's your truth, your power, your destiny. There's a misconception that storms are random, uncontrollable, destructive, without reason. But you know better. You are the storm because you are intentional. Every crack of thunder, every flash of lightning, every gust of wind that shakes the world around you is fueled by purpose. You don't bring chaos just to watch things fall apart. You bring chaos to rebuild, to reclaim, to resurrect what was buried beneath the lies, the fears, the complacency. They prayed for peace because peace is easy to grasp. It's the illusion of safety, the promise of quiet, the hope that nothing will change. But peace is a trap if it's not earned, if it's not fought for, if it's not rooted in strength. You are the storm that breaks that illusion, that shatters the lie, that exposes the raw truth underneath. It was all good until this dropped. Your emergence as a force no one dared to predict, a power no one thought you could hold, a storm no one believed you could become. You rose from the ashes of doubt and disappointment, from the wreckage of every closed door and broken promise, and you became something greater than they ever imagined. You became a movement, a force of nature, an unstoppable storm. This storm inside you is relentless because it's fueled by every part of your being that refuses to accept less. It's your heart beating with unbreakable resolve. It's your mind sharpened by every battle you've faced. It's your spirit ignited by every moment you chose to rise instead of fall. You don't just survive the storm, you embody it. They pray for peace because peace is predictable. It's safe. It's what they want, so they can keep you small, keep you quiet, keep you in a place where you don't disrupt their world. But you don't live for their comfort. You live for the fire inside that demands more power, more challenge, more victory. So let the storm rage. Let it tear down the walls they built to keep you out. Let it flood the streets with the truth that cannot be silenced. Because storms are not accidents. They are destiny. They are the necessary upheaval before the dawn. And you are the storm they prayed would never come. It was all good until this dropped. The moment you stopped waiting for peace and became the storm that changes everything. They prayed for peace. You brought the storm. And that storm is your legacy, your power, your truth. They prayed for peace, craving the quiet and the calm, hoping the world would settle into something safe and familiar. But you were never meant to be a chapter in their comfort story. You are the storm that breaks the mold, the force that refuses to be tamed, the undeniable power that demands change. Not tomorrow, not someday, but now. Your storm is the catalyst for everything real, everything raw, everything alive. It's the thunder that shakes foundations, the lightning that illuminates the darkness, the relentless wind that sweeps away doubt and fear.